What's up, guys? HockeyDude 1940 here. We are back with another episode of Let's Talk NHL, and in this episode, I want to talk about the main topic of the NHL the past few weeks, and that has been the Toronto Maple Leafs and all the bad that's been happening to them recently. They fired their coach Randy Carlyle, and there's been all this talk about Phil Kessel and Dion Phaneuf, all the trade rumors, and um, I saw the interview of Phil Kessel after the loss to Washington, I believe, and he was getting pissed with the interviewers. Basically saying that he thought they were accusing him of firing of Randy Carlyle. Um, but yeah, as far as the firing Randy Carlyle thing, I do not think it was the right decision at all. I think Randy Carlyle is a great coach, and it definitely was not his fault. This is completely the fault of the Toronto Maple Leafs themselves. The players are just not in it this year. I'll wait a few seconds to see if this guy's actually going to play. But yeah, guys like Phil Kessel, JVR, Kadri, Dion Phaneuf, France, and these guys, and everybody on their team. I'm just going to back out and try to find another guy, but these players, this team, it just doesn't seem like they want it. It happens every single year to this team. Normally it happens around February. This year it's happened a little bit earlier, but they always play the first half of the season pretty well, and then the second half they fall off completely. They roll right off the cliff, and they go just in a complete downward spiral, and they miss the playoffs consecutively year after year after year. Um, now it's just looking like all their top guys, and Lupul is always injured. He's still injured. A few players that I like on their team. David Clarkson has been having a good year. Is he worth $5.7 million? Absolutely not, but he's been having a decent year compared to last year. Daniel Winnick, I like Daniel Winnick. He's been doing well. Richard Panik, I think, has had a few good games there. Um, Theo Komarov is pretty good. Roman Polak on defense has been really good for them, but everyone else has just not been very good. Their goaltending has not been great with Bernier and Reimer, but I don't know if you can blame the goaltending at this point. Their whole team has just been crap. Um, but yeah, and I know they've been talking about it, and really what they have to do, they have to trade Phil Kessel, they have to trade Dion Phaneuf, they have to go into a rebuild. That's what they have to do. They're not going to make the playoffs off of free agent signings or trades. They're just not going to do it. They're not a playoff team. They don't have the heart. They don't have the leadership. They just don't have it. And firing Randy Carlyle was a very bad decision. Um, they need to go into a rebuild. And man, I just cannot find an online shootout in NHL 15 PS3. But but yes, and the only problem with that is that Phil Kessel and Dion Phaneuf, they're two big trading chips. Nobody's gonna want those guys. Who's gonna want Dion Phaneuf and all of the negative stuff surrounding him and his $7 million contract? Nobody's gonna want that. Nobody's gonna want to take that on. No playoff team can take that and can afford that. No non-playoff team is for sure gonna take that. And Phil Kessel, I mean, he's great, but I mean he goes silent for stretches. There's been all that talk. He's a difficult player to coach. He's not a difficult player to coach. I don't know. I actually just purchased a subscription to NHL Game Center Live, so I've actually watched the past two Toronto Maple Leaf games. I actually watched the most of the Maple Leaf game to tonight against who was it? Man, I don't even remember. It was many hours ago now. Um, actually, legit forget. Hmm. Wow, I actually forget who it was. It was the Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets, man. I can't believe I forgot that. But yeah, I watched the first and second period between the Maple Leafs and the Blue Jackets. They definitely looked a lot better in the first period. Kessler got a goal and an assist. JVR got 2 goals and an assist. Um, so the top line for them played very well. Man, I cannot. I really want to play a shootout. I want to try some deeks that I know I'm not going to be able to pull off. But But yeah, the only problem with those guys is nobody wants them. I mean, Phil Kessel, he's got a big contract. Last year teams like LA, they acquired Marian Gabrick, who's a top six sniper, but they only took on half of his salary. They were only paying for like 3.7 million of him. Versus 7.5. So it'll be very difficult to trade those two guys, especially with all the negativity that is surrounding them right now. Nazem Kadri, he makes a lot of stupid plays during the games. Blind passes, just dekes that just don't work. James Van Riemsdyk, I really don't have a problem with. Joffrey Lupul, like I said, is always injured. Jake Gardner, Morgan Riley, they're still young and still growing. They're not, on a good team, they wouldn't be top four defensemen just yet. Their defense is not very fast. Morgan Riley's fast, but everyone else, Robida, Polak, Phaneuf, all these guys are slower guys. They just, they need to rebuild. Their scouting. They've not drafted very well, other than Morgan Riley. But that was a top 10 pick. How can you miss that? They've traded away a lot of their picks. Oh, finally, I might get a game. They've traded away a lot of their picks. Obviously that Boston trade. They traded away their two firsts. This lineup is fine. Let's get the captain in there. I'll just make sure there's no one else. The captain, Dion Phaneuf. Who knows how much longer he'll be. We'll give it to Reimer. I actually saw that now that Carlisle's gone, Reimer will get more starts. I think Reimer deserves more starts. I don't think Bernier is too much better. Like I said, I haven't watched all the Maple Leaf games this season, obviously, but I don't see Bernier being much better than James Reimer. But Bernier didn't really face many shots tonight against Washington, or not Washington. That was the other night, Columbus. But yeah, Toronto, they need that top two defenseman. They need that number one defenseman. That's what they really need. They need that young top defenseman. They need that Aaron Ekblad. They need that Victor Hedman. They need that, what's another one, like Drew Doughty or PK Subban. They need that number one defenseman. They don't have that either. They don't have the leadership. They don't have the heart. They don't have that superstar goalie. But, yeah, easy. What? You guys even heard it. I was going to say easy save. I saw that coming all the way. Oh, Reimer, get up that glove, man. I got to stay standing. All right, let's try something here. Oh, Kadri. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, the Maple Leafs, they just need to... I know it's a difficult thing, but, they made some mistakes in the past, and now they're paying for it, and that's what they have to do. They have to rebuild. I hate to say it because they've built a half-decent team. They have some good young talent, but it's not good enough. And if it's not worth keeping these guys for another 5 to 10 years and trying to make the playoffs, because it's just not going to happen. And if they make the playoffs, they're not going to make it past the first round. I'm sorry, Toronto Maple Leaf fans. I wouldn't say I'm a Toronto fan, but I do root for the Maple Leafs. I hope for the best of the future. I've been to Toronto. I've seen what it's like in Toronto when they make the playoffs. I was there in 2013 when they made the playoffs for the first time in a decade, and it was unbelievable. You go in the street and pretty much 80% of the population is wearing Toronto Maple Leaf jerseys, which is just unbelievable. But they made some mistakes in the past. Brian Burke and all those past GMs, they made big mistakes trading away their picks, their top picks, and now they've got to pay for it. They've got to try to trade Phaneuf, try to trade Kessel, Lupul. They're not going to be able to trade Clarkson. They just got to wait until that guy retires. But I'd say Bozak and Kadri, hang on to these two guys. Okay, looks like... No, oh, he faked me out, man. He faked me out. I thought he was doing like the 2BC, I'll let you score move. No, he didn't. But I'd say keep Kadri and Bozak, maybe JVR. Keep Morgan Riley and Jake Gardner. Keep Reimer and Bernier, but trade away Kessel, Phaneuf, Joffrey Lupul, Cody Franzen, those types of guys. Well, you can maybe still get something back for them, because I don't see the Maple Leafs being a playoff team anytime soon. They don't have the drive to do it. It seems they don't have the leadership. to get them there. They don't have that number one defenseman. They just need to trade away their top guys, get some draft picks, get some young talent in there, and rebuild. That's what they really need there in Toronto. So yeah, leave your guys' opinions. You Toronto Maple Leafs fans, let me know what you guys think your team needs to do in order to get back to those playoffs. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.